To listen ad-free, visit zinspod.co/subscribe. Starting at $2.99 a month, you'll also get access to our exclusive bonus content episodes when you join through Patreon or Apple subscriptions. Thanks for supporting the show.
She was a lot in a good way.
She had this spirit. She had a giving spirit. Her heart was gracious. She let people move in with her. She took in friends, pets, story. That's who she was. She just was a giver.
Hi, and welcome to Sins and Survivors, a Las Vegas true crime podcast where we focus on cases that deal with domestic violence, as well as missing persons and unsolved cases. I'm your host, Sean.
And I'm your co-host, John.
We've mentioned Advocacy Con on the podcast a few times. When we attended in March of 2025, one of the biggest highlights for us was that we had the pleasure of speaking with Marilyn Johnson about her daughter, Secoya Williams, who was murdered in Indianapolis in February of 2022 when she was only 25 years old. Our conversation with Marilyn, along with Secoya's grandmother and her brother, was recorded on site at Advocacy Con. We are so happy that we are able to use the majority of that recording to bring you Secoya's story directly from her family.
Most of what we talked about was who Secoya was as a person and the details of the short and beautiful life that she lived.
She was bright. She was a bright person. She was a loving person. And so I just want everybody to know her story because I want people to know your life should be taken because you are a caring person or have a heart of gold and you supporting your friends. It is like that. People need to learn how to deal with conflict in different ways. And so that brought me to this convention. And they asked me, did I want to tell her story? I was like, sure. So I told my son, I was like, well, he loved his sister. It was just him and his sister. And I told him so he could, go as far as some childhood and things like that and what she meant to him. And then I could take it from the actual incident because that's hard. I could talk about her all day, but the incident is hard.
Like she said, it was basically just me and her. I have 4 sisters, but she was the one in the house. And I'm about 4 years older than her, so, that was that. But,
Were you guys close growing up?
Yeah, we was very close. Like, even now, still in day, like, I hear songs, or it's like women songs, or women movies, like Cheetah Girls, or, like, I know all the Cheetah Girls movies, and all the Beyonce songs due to her and my cousin. And just a whole bunch of stuff like that I hold on to because that's what it was. And we did a lot. Together. Coming up though, we fought a lot. Not like in hatred, but just being kids and me being a boy, I was a boy, and she was a rough girl, so we fought a lot. But Mom was like, I need to stop fighting so much and love on each other. And so we developed that different type of relationship. And she would fight anybody for me if they said something wrong that she didn't like about me. She was gung-ho about it. Being my number one fan, my number one support, just making sure I was living a great, a successful life, especially when I went to the military. Like, she became a part of our family readiness group that was only for spouses. And she wrote like a letter to my commander, to like the state and everything, just to become a part of that family readiness group, just to support me and what I was doing. And so that was hard. But yeah, coming up, we did a lot. We had a good life.
Do you have a favorite memory, of your childhood growing up together?
Favorite memory? Would be more so as we got a little older, just sitting off to college. That would be one of my ultimate favorite memories. We did get we got a lot closer as we got older. And started learning about our mental health and stuff like that, because we both, was dealing with mental issues, mental health issues and whatnot, but she didn't let it take over her mind or nothing like that. So we got close talking about that. And like my mom said, she was very joyful and bright. Would help anybody out. Even coming up, like we always had a house full of people because of my friends and her friends, and like she was just open to anybody. Anywhere she went, she made a friend, got a job or whatever have you. She was a lot in a good way. I don't know.
You said she went to college. Where'd she go to college?
She went to ISU, Indiana State University, down in Terre Haute. I think it's northwest. But yeah, it was in Terre Haute, Indiana. She went there.
What was she studying?
Early childhood development, special needs education. She had a thing for, somehow she was able to connect with, and she always corrected me when I said it, but I said autism kids, or she said, no, Ma, it's the spectrum. They're on the spectrum. Okay. She would always correct me, but she had a niche for them.
Secoya did have a knack and a special connection with kids of all abilities, and she ended up continuing her education by becoming a medical assistant. And she easily got a job at Jane Pauley Medical Clinic in Indianapolis, where she was well-liked and very successful. Marilyn told us she was one of the only ones who could get the kids to take their vaccines.
Secoya was known for being a giving person and a comfort to all of those around her, which made her a natural fit for a medical profession.
My sister-in-law started a school called Hardon Education Institute, where they did the medical things like nursing, CNA. So my daughter went there for medical assisting. She graduated the medical assisting program. So she began to work at our local clinic. Then she went to this other clinic called Jane Pauley. It's the Community Health Services. Well, Jane Pauley was opening up a new location. So when Secoya met the manager there, they were like, oh, yes, we got to have you. We need you here to work for us. And that's where she was working. She was working there 6 months. Prior to her death. So she worked there for 6 months, but in those 6 months, she made such an impact there. Like, she had the keys to open the door. She was like, the kids loved her. Nobody can get the kids to do shots, but my daughter was able to get the kids to take shots and things like that. And they still talk about her to this day. Like, I still keep in touch. Everywhere she went in this city, people still keep in touch. And so that's who she was. She had that spirit. She had a giving spirit. Her heart was gracious. She let people move in with her. She took in friends, pets, story. I mean, that's who she was. And so she just was a giver. And I believe she gave. And I think my son mentioned one time, he said, you're the reason she's here, but I misunderstood him. But I think he meant because I raised them to be such caring, loving people. And because of where she was and what happened, it's because of her caring and supportive heart. That's how she ended up leaving here, because she was going to be supported and going to be a caring friend and things like that. But she was loud. She was bold. She was confident. And she was just a light to everyone who knew her. And I'm not saying it just because she's my daughter, because I'm not going the streets. Like last year I went somewhere, they was like, I had on something, a necklace or something I had on. They said, you knew Secoya? Oh my goodness, she was everything. I said, I'm her mother. They said, no. I was like, yes. And they began to tell me stories of how she helped them in school and things like that. It's just everywhere you go, that's how she was. And no matter if she was feeling down or blue, nobody will know it outside the door. Like if she would come home and she had a bad day, I would know it or I would see it. But once she hit the door and was out in society, nobody knew the pain she felt because she hid it so well. And she always had this saying, I'm okay, it's okay, I'm okay, mommy, it's okay. Or she'll tell people, it's okay, I'm okay. And when she passed, that's what helped me get through. Because as she was laying, it was cold, wet, and rainy, and she was standing at the cold, wet street. And when she was leaving here, the witnesses were saying, she just kept saying, I'm okay, it's okay. So that's what got me to know that, I know she's okay. Because even when she was living her last moments, she was letting people know, letting the people that was trying to comfort her, she was comforting them in her last time. So that was Secoya Williams. She was just suddenly bright. So, but she come from a caring family, a children's family. It shows.
It seems like she learned to look out for other people early.
She did. Even as a kid, I remember she was in middle school, that she came home and she said, Mommy, it's a meeting at the school. And people keep teasing her because my daughter was a victim of bullying. And so she was misunderstood. So she came home and said, it's this girl that people keep bullying because of her shoes. And she was like, do we have anything? She said, I'm going to get some clothes because I had an aunt who gave out to the homeless, gave clothes. She said, we need to call so we can find her some clothes. Do you mind if we give her some clothes? I said, sure. Let me call and see what I can do. And she took those clothes to their school, and the school just called me and was like, your daughter is such an angel. And the thing is, the girl, she didn't even know Secoya, but she would protect her because she seen kids picking on her. And she said, no, we got to try to get her some clothes because I think the girl that started working at Wendy's or something, but she come from a family where she didn't have the clothes, but she wanted to go to school. And so I was so proud of my daughter for that in that moment because I was like, you could be thinking about anything else. You could be coming home talking about it, but you came home wanting to help somebody at your age. And that's just, she was like that her whole life. I kept my kids, like my son said, I kept them in activities. My daughter played Little League. She was Little League basketball. She loved karaoke. She was in show choir when she got in high school. And they called her the karaoke queen. That's what she was known for. But she went to Vegas. She said, I gotta go to Vegas. So she went to Vegas on her 25th birthday. She raised the money. She didn't care if she was going by. I don't care if I go by myself. And my nephew wasn't living in Vegas at the time. But she went to Vegas. She got her friend to go with her. And she got out to Vegas. She was excited. She was like just going everywhere. She had to make sure she go to karaoke.
Oh my God.
So she went and did karaoke. We love Chantilly, so she did Grease. Grease was what her favorite.
I was going to ask what her big song, her karaoke song was.
Yes, it was Grease. Summer Loving. She did that, and then her other one was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Oh. So that has become our family and our theme for her. When I did her event, the thing was, I want to dance with somebody, and we had a picture of Secoya, and it says, thank you for dancing with Secoya. And she was holding her arms up, and it looked just like the Whitney Houston poster from I Want to Dance with Somebody. So that became our thing. So we always say we want to dance with somebody. So every time that song come on, I get a chill. But one thing I do want to mention, when she was in Vegas, she turned 25, and she was at, is it called the Skylight? It's something real tall. It's
the Stratosphere?
That's what it was. She was there, and she went up to the top, but when she came back down, she was outside, and she was on her phone, and she was looking up, and she made a Snapchat, and she said, what if I fell from up there? I'll be 25 forever.
Just 2 weeks after her 25th birthday, Secoya went out to an Indianapolis nightclub to support a longtime friend of hers, Alan, who was performing. His girlfriend, Ebony Paris, and Ebony's sister, Ariel Smith, decided to show up at the club as well. Marilyn was able to share with us what happened that night. The family also had the opportunity to view the video footage from the incident, which Marilyn said made her laugh and made her cry. That night became a belated birthday celebration for Secoya. People were buying her drinks, and she was dancing, lighting up the room as always, and having a great time. Security footage showed Ariel getting agitated, and management started to keep an eye on her. At one point, she came out of the bathroom and bought 2 drinks at the bar and threw them in Secoya's face. Club security escorted her and Ebony outside. Secoya was soaking wet and tried to dry herself off. She was there for a good time and wasn't the kind of person to start a fight with someone. She gathered up her stuff and headed outside to go home. We'll let Marilyn tell you more. This part of the interview was understandably quite emotional, so we apologize if it's a little hard to hear at points.
When she came home, she dropped up and he was having a performance. So She was like, don't tell him. Somebody told her he was performing. She said, oh, I'm about to go see him. I'm going to surprise him. So she called his brother, and they went out there. Eddie, apparently he and Alan and he got into it that day, so he uninvited her. She and her sister showed up, unannounced. And when she walked to the door, she saw my daughter in there. And she said, well, why is she here? So Alan came to the door and told her to go home. Go home, and I don't want you to do. She said, I'm staying here. Secoya's in there. I'm staying. So her sister goes in there, the club. And my daughter's over there still celebrating, according to the manager. They said my daughter lit up the room. They said she was just still celebrating her birthday. So people was buying her, drinks, and she was dancing and enjoying herself. And so the two sisters came in, Betty and her sister Ariel. So my daughter was hyping Ariel up in the dance contest. And so she got her to win the dance contest and everything. And then my daughter was over there and Alan was getting ready to rap. So my daughter was over in the corner with his brother and the other people. Ariel kept bumping the table. The manager was kind of watching. And so then my daughter was at the bar, and Ariel goes in the bathroom, and she comes out, and she orders 2 drinks. And she throws the drinks in my daughter's face, and my daughter's asthmatic. So she's like trying to wipe the drinks off, and the bartender was trying to help her. Go up, Ariel, and the drinks in my daughter's face. Then he suffered cluster from the back. And so my daughter still didn't do it. Everybody said it was a fight. It was no fight. My daughter did swing not one time. The video show, she didn't throw no punch. She was busy trying to wipe her face. She was soaking wet in drinks. Sleep into drinks. And so she stood up and tried to get up. And the people threw the sisters out the club. They threw them out the club. My daughter was getting her stuff, her shoes, and gathering her purse. So everybody was like, down out. And so we got out. And so Allie knocked around to the driver's side. That's what Eddie was sitting. And so he was buzzing her, why are you here? Why did you do that? Why did you do some eyes? And so Secoya tapped on the window where Ariel was on the passenger side. She was like, what was that about? I thought we all cool. It was a bad chase. I drew up. And so then she rolled the window down, and somebody said she got a gun. So she opened the door, and my daughter said, oh, she got a gun. So they said, my daughter, where he is. And she backed out away. She was like, oh, she was walking away. And so Ariel just opened the door and just shot my daughter. She shot her right there one time. And so she fell down, they said, and they took off. Now I call it the ambush murder because they were saying it was a fight. There was no fight. The video showed that there was no fight. My daughter did swing one fist, didn't swing one punch, didn't slap no hand, nothing.
The video showed and witnesses explained that Secoya approached the car and Ariel pulled out a gun. Secoya put up her hands and backed off, but Ariel shot her anyway. Secoya was transported to the hospital but did not survive her injuries.
When she passed, that's what helped me get through. Because as she was laying, it was cold, wet, and rainy, and she was laying in the cold, wet street. And when she was leaving here, the witnesses were saying, she just kept saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's okay. So that's what got me through, to know that, I know she's okay. Because even when she was living her last moments, she was letting people know, letting the people that was trying to comfort her, she was comforting them in her last time. And our family still miss her to this day. She was the loud part of the bunch. Like my mother just had 3 children, and each of us had 2 children. So we still get together, have Sunday dinners. That's how we did. We got Sunday dinners, and one of her favorite meals was meatloaf, cabbage, and macaroni and cheese. And she had this thing was like, her macaroni and cheese had to be wet. He was like, what is wet macaroni and cheese? She didn't want it if it was like dry looking. She said, no, I want some wet cheese. But she had to have meatloaf, macaroni and cheese, and cabbage. That was one of her favorite meals. And so we still have our family dinners, but she loved to play games. We would have game day when we had our dinner. So one of her favorite games to play was Face Tea. She loved Face Tea. And it's a card game called Dad. And my mom and I never learned how to play Dad. I play spades, but I never learned how to play Dad.
But my daughter picked it up in like 20 minutes. And so that became one of the games that she played with her uncles and her granny. She was just, it was such a loss to not only Indianapolis, but to me. My family had a hard time, dealing with it. And my thing is, when I saw about this program, they missing and the murder and getting justice and how we heal and grieve. You hear people say, well, because I have family members who also have cold cases or they haven't got the justice for their loved ones. So they say, well, at least you got justice for your Lord. And I'm like, what do I do with that? Because at the end, you kept justice because the killer that killed my daughter, she's going to get out when she's 50 something. So she's still going to have a life to live. My daughter is gone forever. She's 25 forever.
Both sisters opted for bench trials, where a judge would decide their guilt rather than a jury. And after the 3-day trial, the judge found them guilty. Ariel was sentenced to 48 years for Secoya's murder and for carrying a handgun without a license. Ebony was found guilty of assisting a criminal, which is a felony, and was sentenced to 2 years. Over 600 people attended Secoya's funeral. The CEO of Jane Pauley, where she worked, closed the clinic so everyone could attend services. All her former teachers, her high school principal, the dozens and dozens of lives touched by Secoya, all attended to pay their respects and to comfort Marilyn and her family.
My beautiful Secoya Dargay, I carried you in my womb. A connection couldn't get any closer. Never in a million years a mother should have to bury her young daughter. Secoya, God gave me 25 years with you, and oh my God, they were something to be remembered. Treasures of memories wrapped in love, laughter, and even tears. You gave me so much joy even when you gave me pain. No matter what you've seen or done, it never made a difference because you got your way with everyone. Your loud beauty melted my heart the day you made your entrance into my life. I now look at photos of you traveling through 25 years of your beautiful face. Secoya, you grew into a beautiful young woman with so many plans I was eager to see. I guess they weren't meant to be, for God said, job well done, mommy. Now I want my child with me. Secoya Dade, I will miss you every day. I promise to mourn and grieve you properly so your spirit will be okay. I pray to make it to heaven because I know you will be there. I know you're having a good time being loud, bold, and bossy as you were. Just please watch over your mommy, for sometimes I just feel so alone. I hate you were taken to me. I also know why God called you home. Rest on, my beautiful baby girl, who grew into a beautiful young woman. Secoya, my Secoya, you were the best daughter a mother could ask for. You boldly lived life out loud, impacting so many along the way. Meeting no strangers with your lovely personality. Rest on, Secoya, rest on. Mommy's okay. I know I'll see you again one day. So many people miss you here on earth. They just don't know you wouldn't come back here to this life for what it's worth. Oh, what I wouldn't give, though, to have you bust through the door yelling, Mommy, you here? To have me climb in my bed, taking the remote, saying, wait, I forgot my Mountain Dew. I will love you forever. You're forever 25. I will forever miss you. You can rest on, Secoya. Mommy's going to be okay.
Marilyn hopes that Secoya's death will bring about change and help increase knowledge and awareness of how lax gun laws can lead to tragedy.
And hopefully her story can just let somebody know. Just keep on being supportive. Keep on being caring. Keep on being a friend. Be the best friend you could be, the best family member you could be. Just, live life and love life while you can. Because you never know.
We are so grateful to Marilyn and her family for sharing so much about Secoya with us, and we're thankful to our colleagues who put together Advocacy Con and gave us the opportunity to meet with Secoya's family. It was pure coincidence that she had such a heartbreaking connection to Las Vegas, and we will think about her often and remember what Marilyn told us, that it's important to live life while you can. Thank you as always for listening, and remember, what happens here happens everywhere.
Thanks for listening. Visit sinspod.co/subscribe for exclusive bonus content and to listen ad-free. Remember to like and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads at Sins and Survivors. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. You can contact us at questions@sinsandsurvivors.com.
If you or someone you know is affected by domestic violence or needs support, please reach out to local resources or the National Domestic Violence Hotline. A list of resources is available on our website, sinsandsurvivors.com. Sins and Survivors, a Las Vegas true crime podcast, is researched, written, and produced by your hosts, Sean and John. The information shared in this podcast is accurate at the time of recording. If you have questions, concerns, or corrections, please email us. Links to source material for this episode can be found on our website, sinsandsurvivors.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the podcast creators, hosts, and their guests. All individuals are innocent until proven guilty. This content does not constitute legal advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with legal professionals for guidance.